Evening YouTube. New guitar week. Day. So this is a Woody. The guy who sold me it, or I saw it was advertised as a Woody Custom, was the model he called it. I've since looked up online and found it's a Zodiac something, Woody Zodiac, or I've seen ones that are very similar to this that are called that. Woody, maybe about 10 years ago, maybe about 2000 and mid 2000s, I would think, and it's clearly a sort of originally I thought it was a tele thinline, but it's quite it's a bit more like a 335 than a thinline, I think. Well, so it's like a double cut Telecaster, and I've actually got, just by chance, a Telecaster here. So it's that's if I do that, they're both the same size. Yeah, so it's about 10mm bigger. It's also about 10mm thicker than a tele. Also, it's Gibson scale, so it's only 24.75 inches instead of 25.5. Pneumatic bridge. This one's it's a set neck as well, actually. The neck joint kind of reminds me of an Ibanez. I can never remember if it was Ghost Rider or Ghost Dancer or Ghost Dance, something like that. It was like a sort of jazz. It was kind of like this, a wee bit spikier, but it was a similar sort of thing. It had a really thick neck. This one's got quite a thick neck as well. Definitely on the chunky side. There's like a C one, not a D shaped section. A sort of really sort of curvy one. Yep. The other ones of these I've seen online. I've found a couple of pictures. They're all solid colour. This one has a flame maple veneer on it. I don't imagine it's pretty, but it's very thick maple. And also I noticed that the other ones they had online, which were solid colours, also had a hatch in the back to get in at the electrics. So I'd imagine this one might be slightly higher, a slightly higher end model than the other ones that they had. The red and the blue and the white one, which I've seen. I think the RRP in them was about 180 quid about 10 years ago. So maybe this one's maybe 200 quid. I don't know. Because obviously to get at the electrics you have to go in through the pickup holes because it doesn't have the back plate, so it's harder, so it would be more expensive. Also having a maple top on it. It's not a photo either because it's not a particularly brilliant piece of maple. It is flamed, but it's kind of, you can see, it's the sort of thing, if you'd spent £1,000 on a guitar you would want it to be a nicer. The bits of it are nice, but there's a few bits where it's kind of a wee bit sort of patchy looking, like actually in the flaws of the wood. So although it is flame maple, and it's probably only a veneer, it's but it's not £1,000 guitar. So apparently this got a very good review in Guitar Buyer magazine, and I think I might I've got that magazine somewhere. Because I seem to remember them saying, I recognise the logo, because that was their only downside to their main black mark, was that the logo looks a wee bit sort of cartoony. But I quite like the headstock. It's tele enough and just a wee bit pointy, but not too pointy. P90 pickups, yes, and 2 F-holes, and they're not stickers. You know, actually, the cavities behind them are maybe about, well, it's a wee bit bigger for this one to take the controls, so that cavity's about that size, and this one's only, you know, it's like that. It's not much bigger than the F-hole, but I don't know what sort of difference it makes. Yeah, so P90s and this thing, I imagine it's kind of meant to be a sort of jazz guitar. It does very good. If you've got it at half volume, just do clean. I'm just using the same amp as always. It's enough to drive that amp anyway, I think. Neck. which AC/DC riff that is. Oh, well, it's 1 of mine. So. The neck will come out well. Okay, maybe it wasn't that good to riff over. So, yes, as you can see, it's a little bit neck heavy, or head heavy, which is a wee bit annoying, but it weighs absolutely nothing, so it's not like there's any weight in it. It's not like some of the other guitars I've got. I do keep dropping it. Maybe getting a strap that's a bit less smooth than this would be a good thing. Really, all I can really say against it is I think the colour looks a bit... I've recently sold my Hondo Formula 1, which was a similar problem. It's just something about, it's a bit, I don't know, maybe that's just a taste thing. It kind of looks a wee bit like it's getting towards the, you know, those horrible sort of 70s Japanese guitars that kind of looked like what the Beatles had. They weren't quite like this, you know, Auditions and Tesco's and stuff like that. You know, they're not really guitars. This is a guitar, but there's something about the colour. It just kind of reminds me of that a wee bit. But it's really neat all the way around. The rosewood fretboard, it's good. There's some flaws in the actual grain of the fretboard up here, if you look at it closely, which is, I reckon, where this guitar comes from, being quite cheap. It is all the quality parts, it's just, or the quality wood, it's maybe not quite as aesthetically pleasing, so it doesn't get put onto much more expensive guitars. But I mean, obviously it doesn't affect its function. You have to be really picky and look at it. And this one's really in mint condition, so that it was usually the guy I got it off. I don't know if I can't remember if he said he'd bought it new or not, but the truss rod wasn't connected. You know, it's like one of those things that's never been set up, so the action was really high. And as soon as I got it, I was like, I'd stuck the Allen key in, dunk, pulled it back, and gave it a clean. And it's lovely. Also, the bridge pickup sat far too low away from the strings, so the neck one was twice the volume of it. So what I did was, all I did was I took the pickup out, and it sits on sort of blocks of foam. I just put another couple of bits of foam and blow it and screwed it back down again, so it sits, you know, 5 or 10 mil higher, and the match between the two is good. Anyway, the neck pickup is a demon though. It really is. Good sustain this guitar as well. Never used a tone control. Yeah. It's lovely having 3 sounds. Last couple of weeks I've made a guitar and just sold it. That was a Yamaha Pacifica with a 5-way switch, and I put an extra 2 pickups in it, and it just did switches all over the place. It was 144 different sounds you could get. This one's got 3, and they're all good. So yeah. P90s are awesome though. I remember one time sticking, I can't remember where I got them. Did I buy them? I think I bought them, and I bought them cheap because they were gold, and they were Artec ones, but they were humbucker sized P90s, and I stuck them on my Epiphone SG, and as soon as you bite into it, it really does. They just, even the sort of cheapy ones. I've got a Godin, I've got another guitar with P90s, it's got Seymour Duncans in it, and they're better, yeah, obviously, because they're 10 times the price, but they're not that, they're still the same thing. It's still got that same, which you don't really get with either single coils or humbuckers. It kind of seems to mush out. It's great for. And just put hits in. Just seems to be at maximum. Once it gets to maximum, it just fattens out. It's great. It's also nice having a guitar that's in good condition again sometimes. Sometimes it's nice to have one, well it's not new, it's 10 years old or whatever it is, but doesn't have all the bumps and scrapes and dents in it that all my guitars seem to have. Yeah, that's quite good, man.